So the Thanksgiving holiday has come and gone in the last week, and with that came the yearly Thanksgiving movie releases potentially making a lot of money at the box office. But this year has made a different story than what past Thanksgivings have given us for the film industry and movie theaters as a whole. Keep watching, and in this video, I am going to explain why movie theaters are not dead, like so many people have assumed they would be, and why this Thanksgiving holiday is proof of that. So recently, one of the most common misconceptions of the theater industry is that movie theaters as a whole are going away and dying out. Nobody wants to go to the theater to experience films anymore due to a multitude of reasons, and so on and so on. While many of those complaints about movie theaters as a system are valid, I do find that there is some flaw within them with regards to a conversation around people actually going in droves to watch the movies themselves, and the movies come out making good profit. The box office of this past Thanksgiving holiday seems to completely disprove this notion and almost give a leg up to the idea of what it is I'm trying to communicate within this video. The full numbers of the Thanksgiving holiday are out now, and we can talk about it and break it down, and you'll see in this article from Deadline that the 5-day holiday box office hit an all-time $420 million high. This makes it the biggest Thanksgiving holiday release across multiple films, beating the previous record from 2018. Moana 2, Gladiator II, and Wicked were the 3 films this year that helped push to beat that benchmark. Moana 2 also set the record for the highest single movie record on the Thanksgiving holiday, making $225 million over the 5-day time frame, completely destroying the last record, which was held by Frozen 2 in 2019. In total, as of me recording this video, the movie worldwide has made $400 million already within the span of a week, pushing to potentially make it the next billion-dollar film of the year. Wicked and Gladiator II on their own did impressively enough during the holiday to help boost their total box office, and relatively speaking, by the end of their runs, should make a good chunk of change. With all the box office breakdown out of the way, we have to talk about the narrative around why I make this video. As somebody who cherishes the movie theater going experience, I find that there is a common misconception around where the film and theater industries are at right now. The misconception comes from the fact that I think that both industries find themselves in a place where they are making mistakes at the current moment, but where I find that people don't look to enough is that even with those mistakes in mind, movies are still flourishing and making a lot of money to help sustain the theaters themselves. There are people out there who like to constantly push the narrative that theaters are dying out and that they will die very soon. I have no doubt in my mind that someone can believe that, and to some degree, I am almost in line with those people. I just at least have the self-awareness to the situation of it all to know that the money is still coming in and people are still going to see movies. All these people who put out this narrative that theaters are dying are not looking at the bigger picture enough when you factor everything together. To that point, I think there is a much bigger conversation that we can be having about the issues that both the film industry and the theater industry are suffering through right now. I've said it many times before, but movie theaters are not doing a good enough job in keeping people coming back in the sense that they have their interest at heart. Movie theaters are a place where people can go to relax for a couple hours and enjoy their time watching a movie with other complete strangers around them. We've recently seen that there are trends within this experience that force people to go away, such as bad movie theater etiquette and theater infrastructure that leads to a terrible quality movie watching experience. The etiquette stems from the fact that people are constantly on their phones now, or talking over each other loudly, or coming in late to take their seats as examples. Then you have the infrastructure issues, which rely on the fact that theaters are still using older seats that lessen in quality every year, or projector bulbs are dimmed because they are losing their power and the screen image is not as bright, or the worst example of it is all of which the fact that the prices of everything that you buy at a movie theater are inflated and price gouged. These are all things that we should be having a conversation around in order to help better the theater experience. But that does not mean that we can conflate that to show that the theaters themselves are dying when the data is there to show that the money is still coming in. This is absolutely not a defense of the theater industry with how they are handling their issues. It's just a reality check of the world that we are living in, where we can see these results that movies are having and show for why the theater-going experience is not dead yet. It absolutely could die soon if certain things don't get fixed, but for right now, it's still going very strong. When it comes to the actual film industry itself, I again harp on the idea that there are some things that this industry needs to fix as well to keep people coming back in order to also keep the theater experience alive. The kind of movies they make is certainly a factor, not to say that there are certain kinds of movies that shouldn't be made versus what should. I've seen lots of people say that they are tired of the whole sequelitis, remake, live-action reboot style thing that's been happening in some areas, but then they'll go and complain that they don't get enough original stuff to the point where they are the ones at fault for that reason because they are not actually going to see the original stuff. I totally understand where some of these people are coming from, but then you also have to do your due diligence and search for the original stuff that you crave. Movies in general also right now have a problem with budgeting their films. Too much money on the screen is going to push people away, and that is something that absolutely needs to be corrected right now. Some studios also have to figure out the idea that quantity over quality is not the ideal thing that a lot of moviegoers want to see. People don't want to have to be constantly reminded that something is coming out all the time, so that they feel pressured to go and watch it, but then they don't go because they might be spending too much money on this recreational activity. That's where the theater price issue of the movie theaters comes into place. There are many things that combine with each other that prevent people from coming, that I will harp on the fact that, again, they do need to fix those issues. I haven't even gotten into the whole conversation about streaming services either. That honestly feels like it's a topic of conversation for a separate video itself, but I would add that in as well, that streaming needs to be going in a much better direction than where it is now, to where it's not making people want to stay home and watch stuff on streaming as opposed to seeing it first in theaters. Again, we could certainly have a much bigger conversation around the topic of the issues, but for right now, the point of today's video was to explore the Thanksgiving holiday, especially to show that the money is still in fact coming in and that people are still going to have that movie theater experience. I absolutely love that enough to want to keep going and also still recognize that there are things that we need to fix. Things I wish more people would actually talk about online and in the circles of these industries. But too often we are complaining about other things that are contrived and dumb for the purposes of engagement and getting your name out there because you care more about getting your attention and getting the money. I want this to be something that shows that someone like me cares and is willing to be honest about reality, and then also be honest about the problems in said reality. Let this Thanksgiving holiday weekend be a reminder that there is so much potential for the future of the movie theater experience to stick around, and hopefully we will get to the point where that experience does not fully die. So there you have it. This was just a small little video I wanted to make around a very passionate subject within the movie world that I wanted to talk about today. What do you all think? Leave your comments down below on what you think about my commentary of why movie theaters are not dead. Thank you for stopping by my channel. If you want to see more moving forward from me with regards to film and television and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new here and turn on that notification bell. I am trying to build a community on here and your support would be greatly appreciated. That's a wrap, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.